shoot some B-roll, probably make a new video, but I wanted to show you guys. This is just a simple eBay kit on a RSX cast manifold. You got some injectors. I think it's got a 340 pump in it. And then, yeah. So, let me see if you... So when you're doing this, if you need to turn on the flash, you just turn it on.
Okay. Thank you.
So, yep, but we'll do that. This thing's, looks like a 0204. It's a you said it's a K20 motor?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's a K20 motor. And then, yeah, I'm grab my tools. You guys can watch for a minute or whatever. Did you already bring out those injectors? Okay. Drains it. These are some, I think some 2200s you got. Yep, something like that. So we'll put these in. We're gonna solder the clips. Do you have an extension cord? I was gonna say, if not, depending on if it's long enough, we can trying to think of the best way to do it. Well, if you don't have enough extension cord, I'll get by without it. But if you do, we'll use it. You can always put the car in the driveway after too. Alright. So what we're going to do is we are going to gap these plugs. We are going to install the injectors and solder them, and then we're going to go tune. You guys are going to come back at the end of the tune. If you want to stay and watch, you can. This is going to be just a mediocre moving process. This isn't anything crazy fast or anything. So it is what it is. Like I said, we are going to stop and start another live. There'll probably be a gap in between while we like put the wideband in, set up the base map for that. But that'll have a chance for you to jump to the other live if you want, you know, after that gap. But you can kind of see how this goes. We get here, you look at the car, see what we're putting on before the tune, because generally we're doing like injectors, pump, spark plugs. This is pretty typical. Look over the vacuum lines. Most tuners would definitely want this done. I thought the car was a little farther along done to that degree before we got here. But that's why when I schedule and we're doing this stuff, I just, you know, everybody's, oh, what's next? What are we doing? What's tomorrow? How's this gonna go? Just let it fucking roll, dude. Like, come on now. So we're gonna install this stuff, go get a bill, and we'll do it. So. All right.
Do you want me to keep going though?
You can watch for a little bit.
Yeah, there's like 14 people in right now, so.
Yeah, you can keep going for a little bit.
What you got in your magical bag here?
Oh, baby?
I was just kidding. So what you got in your magical bag here?
Bag. Everything you need to tune a junkyard Honda. Alright, let's grab these motherfuckers.
Oh, you got rid of the body.
This thing is a Turbo K20. It's got coil packs, pretty decent spark. Anywhere on the lower boost side, under 10, 12 pounds, you're going to want to go about 28 thousandths on like a distributor car. Probably go about 35 thousandths on a coil pack car. I got mine, even if it's a K20 kind of gap, like I got my distributor cars. If the gap's too small, you're not going to know unless it's like really small, but you'll get farther into your boost range. I play it safe. I assume the coils are maybe, you know, used, weak, similar power to a distributor. Every time they're like, coils are more powerful, this, that, it's 4 coils versus 1 coil. That's the only difference. It going through the wire is not even that big of a deal. 1 coil firing 4 times every time the motor goes around is different than 1 coil for that 1 cylinder firing 4 times. We make so much power on the distributor stuff, like, I just gap them the fucking same. So if you're like, oh, it's my K20, it's my B, put them at 30 thousandths if it's below 10, 12 pounds. If it's under 20 pounds, you're probably going to be like 20 thousandths, and if it's above 20 pounds, you're probably going to be in like that 14 to 18 range. So we're just going to gap these things at 26 thousandths. No matter what boost it's on, it shouldn't affect anything. It shouldn't be hurting gas mileage or making the idle quality bad or anything like that. Probably a little smaller than we'd want, just a cut hair, probably go about 30. But that little incentive, or I should say that little margin of making them a little smaller, like I said, say the coils, you know, are hot one day or really abused and tired and, you know, temperature changes and this and that, this will keep spark blowout to a minimum. Spark blowout's not really going to burn your motor up or hurt your car or anything like that, but it can kind of ajar the rings in the cylinder and let oil pass. So when you get spark blowout, you'll kind of get oil into the combustion. And then if you're doing pulls and that happens, what happens is the oil gets in the combustion process, and on the next cycle, it can induce detonation. So spark blowout isn't really what causes motor failure or anything, but you have spark blowout, you're putting load on it, you're constantly doing pulls, there is a chance you could pull oil past the ring and do some form of damage, I guess. All I know is, despite what anybody tells you, when we get spark blowout, I see pulsing into the canister, I see positive case ventilation, and I'll see smoke from the catch can. So if somebody tells you, oh, spark blowout doesn't do anything, or spark blows out is going to hurt the motor, what it looks like to me, it's just blowing a little past the rings with no ignition. It's actually what it does after with the oil and combustion that actually hurts it. You do a pull, you get a little bit of spark blowout, you ain't gonna hurt nothing. You're constantly doing pulls, getting spark blowout the whole time, you're probably fucking with fire. You're probably pulling a bunch of oil in there, and it's probably gonna want to be spark knocking and all that just because of the oil. These plugs look good, they look rich. I believe the car is already on a K Pro. I do not know if this is like they just slapped this kit on and I'm tuning it for the first time. We will start with our own maps. Yeah, these aren't even the right plugs. So I told him to grab plugs on the way here. I went to look for them. All our AutoZones are out of stock. When we've been buying them, I guess they just haven't been replacing them. They don't, you know, we'll buy 6 of the 9 or 4 of the 9, and then we'll go back a month later and there's only a few left. We're just gonna have to get on their ass about ordering them so we can keep them in stock a little bit. Usually I'll keep a couple sets around, but we had just equipped all the cars with new plugs, so I went through them. But these are Autolite plugs. These aren't even NGK. I will tell you, with Spark Energy stuff, you don't want to be using these are like Ford Focus plugs. I'm gonna put in these BKRs, and then we'll swap the injectors in. We'll solder the connectors. Go over the vacuum lines for the wastegate setup real quick, and then tune the car. And I have a protocol for tuning the cars so I can get it done on the street. Generally, I'll make a base map or use one of my maps that I have saved as a base. Before I actually tune a car, I'll save it as like a K20 cast manifold base, and I can go in there, change the injector sizing, and make my adjustments. I don't use another car that has a cast manifold with a similar setup. They're full tune, because generally the foundational base stuff, I have a lot of stuff, zeroed out or whatever, that I wouldn't want to like kind of piggyback off another tune for that. It might be something I want to adjust completely, and if it's in the tune already and I use it, there's a potential that that part might get missed. Maybe it acts right for me, and the next day I notice it's a little off, shit like that. So we start everything from the same point. We do everything with the same process and methodology and algorithms and type of thought process. Dyno is a tool. Dyno is a good idea. Dyno's definitely where you should take your car after we get it done on the street on the wastegate. I wouldn't bother going to the dyno on wastegate. I would either A, street tune it on the wastegate, go to the dyno to finish up at whatever boost level you want, which, if that just so happens to be wastegate, that's fine. But what I'm saying is, dyno's for the end. I'll tell you right now, most of these cars aren't even ready to go to the dyno, so this is kind of an in-between. The reason we never go to the dyno is because we haven't had anything that we really needed to test or R&D. We could street tune it and go have fun and be reliable. I wouldn't say that's for like every street tuner, and I wouldn't say to do that. I would say with me and the way I do things, that works out for us, and it works out very, very, very well. So if you're a part of my racing program, you're in that. If not, I wouldn't trust anybody else. Now, going to the dyno is necessary, but again, it's a tool. When we go to the dyno, I generally find that we're leaning the car out and we're adding timing, which means we're on the safer side. So until these cars hit a certain point, we don't bother going to the dyno. That's simply being, maybe we're not at the point where we're considered to be done with the car to go to the dyno. If we're going to the dyno to get some information on ignition retard per pound of boost, and we want to go from 8 pounds to 12 pounds to 15 to 18 to 21, we would obviously want to know our ignition retard per pound of PSI and our efficiency zones, which we could check on the dyno. But we can also check turbo RPM versus their compressor map. We can check back pressure sensors, stuff like that. Along with a lot of the fuels we're using now are pretty much knock proof, and I'm still under timed when we go to the dyno. The street stuff just works out for us. So I'm not going to sit here and say don't go to the dyno, but what I'm going to say is this process, if he were to show up and we had a dyno tune scheduled and this was the way the car is, if we had the dyno in 20 minutes, that wouldn't be happening. We have to change plugs, change injectors, solder the clips, and go over the map lines. Do you really want to get there and go, hey, let's do that real quick and get on the dyno, and then have some type of issue? Say one of these injectors are dirty or broken or don't work or whatever, that also fucks you out of that money for the dyno. So I like to come over here, look over the car, street tune it. Generally the owner's really happy and is like, yeah, we're good, leave it. Doesn't need to be cranked up anymore. If I want a couple more pounds, I'll just have you keep it safe and raise the boost. We go to the dyno, that's where we can really edge it out. And I have other tools to help us get in there in between. If you want to make the tune a little more aggressive, we're bumping the boost up. You're like, hey, can we kind of push a number? We can break out the draggy and a few other tools, and you know, we can check. I don't want to get too much into it on video because those are things that I use to make, you know, my work better. That to somebody that doesn't know, it won't matter, but to somebody that knows, I don't know, and maybe it'll change the way they do things. I would like to say that the way I do things I'm happy with can be copied, emulated. The way I do things is the way I've developed it for years and years and years to become this way. And it generally leaves me completely clean, not stressed, and very happy, and the car's running great. Everything in between that, the stress, the car's running bad, this, that, that's generally not how it goes. Because if you look at the way my cars go, they go smooth and we're good. We break a motor, oh, that's cool, we'll replace it. We know why it broke. Sometimes things don't go like that, and a lot of it's on the owner. And where I'm at right now, we're looking for a huge quality increase, not a quantity increase. I really want to make some beautiful things. I want to do some good work. I'm not going to rush this. I'm going to let you guys know right now, this is all for a purpose, not to make money, but to like make a future to where I can do this and be financially stable. So we're going to keep going with this. If you guys have any questions, you need anything, like I said, it's not a huge rush thing. I keep things simple for a reason. I keep it in our wheelhouse for a reason. I keep control of it for a reason. If we have it and you need it, we can figure it out. If you need help, we can figure it out. If you come to me asking, we can figure it out. So just let me know what you need. I'll keep giving you guys some pointers and shit, and we'll go from there. We just gap those plugs, we tighten them down, we're going to throw the coils in. These injectors, we're going to swap them and do the clips and solder them. We'll do a soldering video later. I'm sure you guys don't care about that. Make sure you lube your O-rings when you put them in so you don't tear them. I hope you guys have a good night. We'll be back in about 45 minutes for the tune session. So go ahead and just keep an eye out when you see the live thing pop up. Make sure you're subscribed. I'll hop on, you guys will see us tune this thing. So let's get past the bullshit and go have some fun.
Yeah. Okay.
Alrighty. Do this.